Okay, so you want to own a nightclub. Rent a big dark room, hang some lights, buy a sound system, stock the bar, open the doors, and watch the money pour in. Because everyone knows the secret of this business, right? The markup. A bottle that costs a few dollars wholesale sells for 10 times that at the bar. Drinks are practically liquid profit. It looks like the easiest money in the world. And here is the strange thing. If the markup were really the business, then every nightclub would be rich, and almost no nightclub would ever fail. But nightclubs fail constantly. They fail faster than restaurants, faster than shops, faster than almost any business you can name. Some of the most famous clubs in the world, places that had lines around the block, were dead and closed 3 years later. So the markup is not the secret, something else is going on. Let me show you the actual machine, because a nightclub is one of the most misunderstood businesses on the planet, and the truth of it is stranger than anything you would guess. Start with an experiment. Imagine 2 clubs on the same street. The first club has free entry and half-price drinks, and it is empty. 20 people inside a room built for $500. The second club charges a painful cover at the door, sells the same drinks for triple the price, and has a line of 200 people waiting outside in the cold. Now ask yourself, which club would you walk into? Be honest, almost everyone chooses the second one. Nobody wants to drink cheap drinks in an empty room. Everyone wants to be where everyone else is. And in that one choice, you can see the entire secret of this industry. The empty club is not cheap. The empty club is worthless, because the thing a nightclub actually sells is not the drinks, and it is not the music, and it is not even the space. A nightclub sells the crowd. The product is other people. Read that again, because it changes everything about how this business works. Every other business you know buys its product from a supplier, puts it on a shelf, and sells it to a customer. A nightclub's main product walks in through the front door, pays for the privilege of being the product, and walks out at sunrise. The customers are the inventory. The dancers on the floor, the group laughing at the bar, the beautiful people at the tables. They are what everyone else came to see. Without them, the room is just a dark warehouse with expensive speakers. And once you understand that the crowd is the product, everything strange about this industry suddenly makes perfect sense. Start with the door, the velvet rope, the list, the person with the clipboard deciding who gets in and who stands outside. To a normal business, this is insanity. Imagine a supermarket paying an employee to stand at the entrance and turn customers away. Imagine a shop that makes people wait outside on purpose while the store sits half empty inside. Commercial suicide. But a nightclub is not turning away customers, it is manufacturing its product. Every person rejected at the door makes the room inside more valuable. The rope is not a barrier, the rope is a factory. It produces the single most valuable substance in this entire industry, which is scarcity. The feeling that this place is not for everyone, that getting inside means something, that you were chosen. People will pay far more for a door that almost stayed closed than for a door that was wide open. And here is the beautiful, brutal detail. The line outside is doing double duty. Those 200 people waiting in the cold are not just waiting, they are advertising. A line is a living billboard that says, whatever is inside must be worth this. Clubs know this, and some deliberately slow the door down, keeping a line visible on the street even when the room inside has space, because an empty sidewalk kills the story. The people in the line think they are waiting to get in. Actually, they are working, unpaid, freezing, and thrilled to be there. Now let us follow the money inside, because the way a club layers its revenue is a masterpiece of price discrimination, which is the art of charging every customer exactly what they are willing to pay. At the bottom, the general crowd pays a cover charge at the door and buys drinks one at a time. They fill the floor, they create the energy, they are the atmosphere. Many of them, in pure profit terms, barely matter. Some of them, and this is an open industry secret, got in free. Promoters and guest lists exist to pump the room full of exactly the kind of crowd that makes the paying customers want to be there. Certain groups get waved in without paying a cent, because their presence is what the club is actually selling to everyone else. The product, remember, is the crowd, and sometimes you have to stock the shelves at your own expense. Then, one level up, come the tables, and this is where the modern nightclub actually lives or dies. Bottle service. A reserved table, a couch, and a bottle of alcohol that costs maybe $20 in a shop, sold for $400, $600, $1,000. The markup is so absurd it sounds like a scam, but look closer at what is being bought, because it is not the vodka, the table is real estate. It is the best located territory in the room, elevated, visible, roped off from the crowd. The bottle arriving with sparklers and a parade of staff is a ceremony, a public announcement that this table spent money. What the table buys is visibility, status made physical. The whole room is arranged like a small city, the dance floor as the busy street, and the tables as the balconies above, where you pay not for what you consume, but for where you are seen consuming it. A person at a table is not buying a drink, they are buying a stage. And the crowd on the floor, the ones who got in cheap or free, they are the audience that makes the stage worth paying for. Every layer of the room is selling a different product to a different customer, and every layer needs the other layers to exist. The free crowd makes the room alive. The paying crowd funds the lights. The tables fund everything else. Strip out any layer and the machine dies. An empty floor makes the tables pointless. No tables makes the economics collapse. It is an ecosystem engineered nightly, and the person engineering it is not really running a bar. They are casting a show. Now, about the costs, because the fantasy skips them completely. That dark room is not cheap. A serious sound system and lighting rig can cost as much as a house. The venue itself sits in an expensive part of town because location is everything, and it earns money maybe 2 nights a week. Think about that. A restaurant serves lunch and dinner 7 days a week. A shop opens every morning. A nightclub makes essentially all of its money on Friday and Saturday night, a few hours per week, and pays rent for all 168. The staff bill for a single night is enormous. Security, bartenders, hosts, cleaners, sound engineers, all packed into hours when the rest of the world is asleep. And insurance, licensing, compliance, noise regulations, all of it heavier for a business built on alcohol, crowds, and 4 in the morning. So the machine has to print money in a painfully narrow window, which is why every square meter and every minute of a good night is optimized like a stock exchange. And even when the machine works perfectly, there is a clock ticking inside it that almost nobody talks about. And this clock is the real reason nightclubs die. The product is cool, and cool is the most perishable substance on earth. Think about what makes a club hot. It is new. It is hard to get into. The right people go there. There are stories about it. It feels like the center of the world on a Saturday night. Now watch what happens next, in slow motion, because it happens to almost every club ever opened. The hot club gets popular. Popularity means more people want in. More people means the door loosens, because every rejected customer is rejected revenue, and the pressure to take the money is enormous. The door loosens, the crowd broadens, and the original crowd, the ones who made it cool, look around one night and see a room full of people who are not like them. So they leave, and they go somewhere newer, somewhere harder, somewhere that feels like a secret again. And the moment they leave, the club is still full, still loud, still making money, but it is already dead. It just does not know it yet, because the crowd that made it the product has been replaced by a crowd that came to see a product that is no longer there. The club begins living off its reputation, and reputation, unlike wine, does not age well in this business. It evaporates. Within a year or two, the line gets shorter, the tables get cheaper, the promoters push harder, and then one Saturday the room is half empty. And in this industry, half empty is a death sentence, because remember, the crowd is the product, and half a crowd is not half a product. It is no product at all. This is why the lifespan of even a successful nightclub is often just a handful of years. The business model contains its own poison. Success attracts the masses dissolve the exclusivity, and exclusivity was the entire product. A nightclub is a business that is killed by the same force that makes it work. It has to stay scarce to stay valuable, but it has to sell access to survive, and every ticket sold burns a little of the scarcity it runs on. The owners know this. The smart ones plan for it. They treat a club not like a building to hold forever, but like a rocket with a few years of fuel. Burn bright, extract everything during the hot years, and then, before the decline gets visible, they do something that sounds insane. They close it, on purpose, at the peak, and they reopen the same room with a new name, a new design, a new story, and a new line outside. The same walls, the same address, reborn as the next hot secret, because in this business it is easier to be born again than to grow old. Some of the most legendary nightlife addresses in the world have been 5 different clubs over 20 years, each one dying and rising under a new name, like the building itself is immortal but nothing inside it is allowed to be. So now, stand outside the machine and look at it whole. It is 11 at night on a Saturday. The line stretches down the block. Inside the rope, the floor is filling. The tables are lit. The first sparklers are moving through the dark like small comets. The music is enormous. Everyone in the room feels like they are exactly where the world is happening tonight. And none of them see the machine, the line that was engineered to be seen. The free guests seated through the crowd like decoration. The tables arranged like theater boxes above a stage. The drink in their hand marked up not for its contents, but for its coordinates. The door that said no to some of them an hour ago specifically so that yes would feel like a prize. Every element of the night, every rejection, every sparkler, every rope exists to manufacture one single feeling. The feeling that this room tonight is scarce, that it cannot be repeated. And the strangest part is, that feeling is true. The night really is scarce, not because of the rope, but because of the clock. This club, this exact club, the one that feels eternal tonight, has perhaps 3 good years left, maybe 5, before the crowd that makes it real moves on and the whole thing has to die and be reborn as something new. So when you buy a nightclub, understand what you are actually buying, not the building that is rented, not the sound system that is depreciating, not the brand that is dissolving in real time. You are buying a few short years of other people's desire to be somewhere they are not sure they can get into. You are buying the rope and the line and the no that makes the yes valuable. And the moment everyone who wants in can get in, nobody wants in anymore. That is the whole business. In one sentence, a nightclub sells a room that is only worth entering while someone else is being kept out.